Live from New York, it's Carmine Teaches Photography, episode 42. Hi, everybody. It's January 27th, 2022, and as you can tell from the title, we're going to be discussing today Ukrainian cameras, the Kiev 4M. I started this video 2 days ago when it arrived. I usually like to show the unboxing, cut it open, and we all get surprised at the same time. And I had to stop that video because there was a little problem. Let me turn the camera this way. Okay. So, here was the issue. The issue was when I opened up the box from the Ukraine, okay, the camera. I bought this camera with no lens because I had a lens that would fit it. Okay, everything looked fine, right? It's the Kiev 4M. The M is for the meter, right? Which of course does not work. All right, but the seller was honest about that, and he said it didn't work, but he said everything else worked fine, right? He said the shutter worked fine, right? Remember, you have to advance it before you change the shutter speed, right? Shutter works fine. But here's the issue. The issue was when I put my lens on, okay, you put your lens, this is the Jupiter 50mm f2, right? There's a little red dot right here, and you line it up with, here comes the issue. There's two red dots, okay? There's a red dot, let me get a pointer. Okay, there's a red dot here. Okay, and then there's a red dot in between these two screws. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, there's a red dot there, and there's a red dot in between the two screws. A screw here and a screw here. There's a red dot there. That was the problem. The red dot on the ring, right? This is the ring that turns. This red dot on the ring was way up here. So I'm like, oh boy, that's not good, because you're not even supposed to be able to take the lens off without it being lined up. Okay. So I watched a few videos online, especially the one from Martin Henson, his video on the Kiev, all right, his Kiev 4. All right, he had a nice clear close-up, and it showed when the two red dots are lined up, okay, that's when you're supposed to be able to put the lens on. And this button up here, okay, there's a button up here, right, that it's a lock. You push it down to unlock it, because this camera, the Kiev 4 and the 4M, of course, locks at infinity. So here's the issue. The issue was that I couldn't load the lens. I could not load the lens because these two red dots were not lined up. So everything was fine. This button was stuck in the down position, right? Now if you look here, right, this is the lens infinity unlock. As I press down here, right, watch this lock button get it move up and down. Okay, so when I got the camera, first thing I checked was the shutter. The glass was good. The serial number matched the one that was on the eBay listing, right? It starts with 80, which means the serial number, the first two digits of the year it was made. So this was the one that I purchased, right? It even has the 1980 Moscow Summer Olympic logo on the camera, which was mounted askew. It's not even straight, but that's okay. So back to the problem. The problem was that this button was down. The unlock button was in the up position, which meant this ring should turn smoothly. Okay, like this. Right, you focus. One way you can focus is up here. Watch. See it turning? It wasn't doing that. Okay, now listen to the click. Okay, it's very quiet, but that's the click when it gets to infinity and the two red dots are lined up. So, what did I pay for the camera? I paid 50 bucks. Free shipping. Okay, because the seller, I dealt with him before, only sells top quality stuff. The body, mint condition. Okay, no issues at all with the body. The rangefinder, right? Perfect, clear as a bell, focus, looked fine, but I couldn't mount the lens or focus. So that's why I stopped the video when I started to make it, and I had a choice. My choice was learn how to fix it myself or send it back to the Ukraine. Now this is January 27th, 2022. Just go in the news, watch the news, see what's happening on the Ukraine, in the Ukraine, especially at its borders. That's all I'm going to say. This is not a political channel. So, which meant that this camera, he may not even ever get it back. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I says, okay, I'm going to try and get this focusing ring, okay, to focus smooth as silk like it does now. So remember what the issue was. This red dot was way up here. This unlock tab was up, which meant it should rotate freely, and this tab up here, the unlock for the infinity, was all the way down in the down position. So as you can see, I have the lens wrench here, okay, these calipers. So what I did was, if you look in here, if you look inside the body, not the lens, if you look inside the body of the camera, okay, you'll see these here, right? I'll put my finger on it. Look here. Look here. You see them? You see those? Those are little metal pieces that grab the lens. Okay, they're the lens mount. The 50mm lens, right? The 50mm lens mounts inside the camera. All the other lenses mount outside the camera. Okay, it's a little Ukrainian or Contax. This, don't forget, now this is a exact Contax camera, just with the badging changed, because after World War II, Russia went into Germany, took the Contax machinery, parts, and personnel, brought them to Russia to make the Contax, C-O-N-T-A-X cameras, just branded Kiev. All right, so this is a Contax camera, okay, made with their machines, parts, and personnel. So if you see in here, like I said, okay, there's these little metal lens mounts. There's one on that side, right, and one on the other side. So I laid it down, and I took the calipers, right? I took the calipers, and very carefully, right, I put one edge. I used the flat, right, these calipers, lens mounts, lens wrenches, right, have two types: pointy end and flathead end. So I took the flathead end, right, rotated it against the two lens mounts inside, the two pieces of metal, right? Now remember, I'm saying nothing. I can't break anything because the locks are all unlocked. This lock, right? This lock. Let me just make sure you guys can see that, right? This lock here. Let's see. Okay, that's good. This lock, right? This is unlocked. The pin is up in the up position, right? It was in the up position, and off we went. Now, the first time I did it, I could not believe how tight it was. So I took a break, made sure everything was all lined up again, because you don't want to strip anything or slip. If you slip with this wrench, okay, what do you think you're going to damage? The shutter curtain. Okay, yes, the shutter curtain in the Kiev 4M is made out of metal, but it's very light, thin metal. So, second attempt, turning, holding the camera steady, sweating a little bit. It broke loose. And finally, after the second attempt, right, the focusing, I'm telling you, this is so smooth. It's buttery smooth. Buttery smooth. So then, let's mount the lens. Okay. Red. It's not really a red dot. It's a red bar. Goes there where the two red dots are. Gently, gently. Okay. And then you turn it until it clicks onto this. I call it a ramp. It's a piece of spring metal. Okay. Let's see if you can hear it lock in. Okay. It's locked in. Now, remember with the Kiev 4 and 4M, you have to push down the lock before it will focus, because that's what they call the infinity lock. Okay, and look at that. Look at that lens. Beautiful lens. Beautiful focusing. Okay, I'm going to try and let you see the okay. Let's see if you guys can see the rangefinder window. Okay. All right, let me see if you can see it. Well, anyway, it's there. Okay, it's very faint. It's right there, right above the word Kodak. Okay, it's there. But look how crystal clear the viewfinder is, right? The lens, clear, super, super clear. But I had the lens, right? The viewing window, right? Your viewfinder window, clear. The rangefinder window, super clear. Everything worked fine. Everything worked fine. Okay. Remember, with the most Russian cameras, right? You have to advance first before you can take your photograph. Okay. Well, you have to advance before you can change your shutter speed. Okay. That was 1/25 of a second. So this was all, what, yesterday. All right, when I had to abort making the video yesterday's number 42 to make today's 42 because of the problem with the lens. So what did I do? I loaded this up with Ilford HP 5 Plus 400 ISO, and I went out shooting. Let's take a look at the results. Okay. So I go out with, let me go this way. I go out with the Kiev 4M, okay, 50mm Jupiter lens, okay, and for the light meter, of course, I used my Sekonic handheld spot meter, okay, and I took these photographs. This is at an old fort, you know, one of those old military bases, okay, and the focusing was perfect. So you have a lot of things. This was made in 1980, right? So it's 42 years old, and a lot of issues. Light leaks was fine. Is the shutter like yesterday, right? It was so bright, so shiny, especially against this wall, and this prop had on cream white, dirty white fabric, so there's a lot of reflection. Anyway, the spot meter called for 1/500th of a second, at f22. So you're testing out, is it accurate? Is the shutter accurate? But as you can see, this is straight out of the camera, right? This is I developed it yesterday. Remember, we put a label on each one, right? As you can see on the bottom, the development was a D76, 1 + 3, 22.5 minutes, 63 degrees Fahrenheit with normal agitation. The film again was Ilford HP5, 400 ISO. Okay, and let me see if we have one more here. Okay, and this is another one. I brought this prop with me because this area where I photographed, right? I photographed it a million times, and there's really nothing new there. So I have props that I've been using for years and years and years, right? Just for something different. Now, let's talk about props. Okay. The Kiev 4M rangefinder, right? Worked fine. Before we get into props, I really should finish my notes that I made about the 4M. It was made, you might as well take a look at it while I'm talking, right? That's only fair. Right. Let's see. It was made in the Arsenal factory in Kiev when Kiev was part of Russia. Okay, we talked about how it's an exact Contax camera, just rebranded Kiev, right? This is this selenium meter that opens up like this, right? But it's not battery powered. It's powered by the sun, but that's long not working anymore. Like I said, you have to advance the film before you change the shutter speed. And on this dial, this is just a reminder dial. Now you all know of ISO, and you all have heard of ASA. Well, in Russia they use GOST, G-O-S-T. So that's something new. ASA, ISO, and GOST all mean the same thing. Like I mentioned, it took 30 days for it to arrive from the Ukraine. It was lost in tracking. Tracking didn't move for like 3 weeks. It just said still in Kiev, right? Let's see what else I talked about. That when after World War II, Russia went in and took all the manufacturing equipment from the Zeiss factory that made Contax and brought over all the machinery parts and the people from the factory into Russia to make these. Let's see. Okay, so today there is another camera from on eBay. He has 100% feedback credibility score. He has over 5,800 ratings and still $55 free shipping. No lens. If you want a lens, they're only about $75 for the whole kit, right? But keep in mind what's happening in the Ukraine now. I don't know if you want to hold off or just make it business as usual. It will take you 30 days once you pay. 30 days. It sounds crazy, but it took 30 days. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about using. Oops. Let's see if I got to get this straight. Okay. Straight as possible anyway. Okay, so let's talk about using props in your photography. About the only photograph that doesn't use props is like a passport photograph. Everything else, every other photograph you've seen, now I'm talking in generalities here, okay? Like if you're a wedding photographer, the bride's dress is a prop. Her flowers is a prop. Her rings, it's all a prop. Don't feel like somehow you're cheating if you're using a prop, okay? I use props all the time, okay? This is the disgusting scary doll that you saw in the photographs. Okay, it's gigantic Victorian era doll. It's seen better days, right? The body is sewn together. The body is sewn together, fabric, right? There's like, I don't know what's in here. It could be sawdust. I don't know. He or she fell a few times. Now, when I bought this, right, you could see this is authentic. This is an authentic Victorian era doll, right? How did I buy it? I bought it on eBay 10 years ago. Because I wanted to photograph something different, right? So I looked up Victorian doll broken or Victorian doll creepy, and I found it. And I think the guy was, or the woman was, glad to get rid of it. To tell you the truth, my family is not happy that that thing is in the house. Too bad. I keep it in a closet. So what I'm getting at is your art, right? Your photography is an art. You have to expand. You have to expand beyond landscape, right? Beyond sunrise pictures, beyond sunset pictures, right? Think creativity. Think with your creative side of your brain, okay? I could say stuff like, oh, it's the winter, you start taking indoor pictures. No, no, no. This is the same doll, right? Same doll, just with a black background, right? Found these are real taxidermy bugs, dead bugs, dried bugs. I get them on Etsy, ETSY. They come in you buy them by the piece, right? Like $4 a piece, these dried bugs. I look, because I wanted to take this kind of picture. I wanted to take really creepy, right? Lighting down, shadowy photographs. It's just part of the photography process. All right, this one's a little bit different, really showing the paint, the paint on the head of this Victorian doll, how it's over 100 years old, how cracked it is, right? And that's another kind of bug coming out of the eye. If you want to see these pictures, just go to my gallery online, CarmineTaverna.com. Right, CarmineTaverna.com. For these pictures, I think you have to look up macabre, right? Because it's macabre, right? Scary, creepy stuff. And you'll see these. For the other ones, for the newer ones that I just took, right? Just look up the Kiev 4M, and you'll see these in high resolution, high definition, right? On my gallery, CarmineTaverna.com. And in it, and when you go to the gallery, it'll have the equipment that I used, the development. Something new I've started on my gallery is part of the teaching process is to also give the full gamut of the whole photograph, meaning the camera, the film, and how it was developed. All right, because the development and the chemicals used is all part of the final product, right? It's all part of the final product. So, CarmineTaverna.com, that's my online gallery. Email me, blackandwhitephoto@AOL.com, if you have any questions. It might be easy just to comment below. Give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to go right over here and hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, I think I covered everything. We hit a lot today. The Kiev 4M, okay? You saw the problem I had, how I fixed it. We talked about using props in your photography, right? And thinking outside the box. And also don't forget macro photography. All right, this camera is not for macro photography, But we'll get into using your cameras with a macro lens and how much fun that is. Taking photographs of, well, bugs. if you want to buy them, if you're into that. Remember, I get my bugs on Etsy. Etsy.com, right? I found that to be the best place for your bugs if you want to take macro photography of bugs. Let's see, what else? I think we covered everything. All right, guys. This has been episode number 42. Carmine from New York. And have a great day, and I'll see you on the next episode.